listening to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about Propagandhi. On this episode, we are discussing Unscripted Moment, track 9 from 2012's Failed State LP.
Yeah,
the
man.
namesake of this song podcast is finally here.
Woo!
It's the end of an era.
It is. Absolutely. We've never talked about this song, ever. And it's really wild to think about the procrastination that led us here. Like 5 years. Like 5 years it took us to get to this. I just kept finding reasons to not do this song. So I can't believe it's finally here.
And it's kind of interesting because, it's crazy that you say 5 years, because that means it's been 3 years since I've been on the show.
Yeah, you've been here a long time now. I don't know how many, how many numbers of episodes you've
Not
been
many.
on.
My schedule, I've really slowed the pace down to a crawl.
Hey, you know what though? It's been perfect because when we started the thing, I knew that if we didn't go fast, that we would never get done, right? I knew that we would stand no chance and we would be like 20 songs in and then it would just flame out and disappear. And I could not let that happen. And so once I got past a certain number and I realized, okay, there's only like two or three songs left per record, I was like, okay, this is now doable. Now we can dial it back. So that's why it took so long. But we've had a heck of a lot of fun along the way.
Oh, it's been, I've thoroughly enjoyed the 3 years that I've been a part of it. And I know since I've been here, not mentioning this song has not been intentional whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just organically never come up. But prior to my being on the show, obviously you and Keith cranked out literal hundreds of episodes before I showed up. And even when guests came on, was it organic that the guests didn't even bring it up? Or was it intentional that no one ever brought it up?
Well, okay, so I definitely told some people early on that Unscripted Moment was planning on being the last one, but I really thought that we would do this 3 years ago. I never really anticipated this being such a long, drawn-out process, but all of those bonus episodes along the way, we've done 250-something episodes, despite this really only being, there's only 120 something Propagandhi songs between 1989 and 2024. And so, we really got sidetracked with a lot of bonus episodes, some of which are fabulous and some of which are very, very mediocre. But, the Rad Dads guys, Brett and Christian, they were super interested in being involved in this episode early on. But people we just moved on from it. And it's nothing bad about saying about those guys that they're not on this episode. Christian did a great episode with me, and Brett had me on the Rad Dads podcast. So just for the sake of everybody's schedule and sanity and time, I just want to shout out that those guys had offered to be on this episode a long, long time ago, but it was so long ago. It almost feels like a different lifetime.
It feels like a different lifetime from when I even started.
Yeah.
On the show.
It is. It's a crazy full circle experience in my own personal life, from thinking about my life when this show started to where my life is now. And the journey has been so wild. And then I think about the fact of how many personal life stories I've told on this thing in the last 5 years. And it's truly the biggest topsy-turvy 5 years of my entire life in several ways. So the fact that we're, now finishing the original project as it was intended to be done 5 years later on the cusp of some massive life changes for me is just so big, and I love it.
It's kind of interesting in that, these last 5 years, I don't know a single person who hasn't experienced some form of challenge over the last 5 years. So it's kind of hilarious how the show is just run in parallel to, I want to say, most people listening probably going through some of the hardest periods of their entire life within the last 5 years. Yeah, myself included. And
yeah, many people have told me that. I got divorced. It was crazy.
So yeah, it's interesting, but I think tying it all together with a little bow today, I think is the right call, and I'm looking forward to kind of put a resting this initial era to laying it to rest, and then starting a new era come the new year for us.
Absolutely. The show is not over. As everybody knows, Propagandhi released At Peace last May, and we've done some guest hosted mini episodes in the last several months. But, Steve and I are going to do that record too, and we're going to talk about it. And we even have already recorded some stuff back in May before the record came out.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, it exists, and I have it. It's right there in my files. So don't
cannot
worry.
I cannot believe that stuff is gonna ever air.
It is.
If I think back to the context in which when we recorded that,
Yeah,
I'm like, oh god, I can't believe that's gonna air.
it's fantastic. And there's already been some covers made for the At Peace episodes, so those are going to come out eventually. But
And I want to shout out, we have our year end episode coming up too.
yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to go up to your house in a couple of weeks and hang out in the living room next to Zoe's plant shelf and do some end of year celebrating together. And hopefully we can get one more special guest on the podcast this year. So we'll see how that goes. But
if I could just do, you just mentioned Zoe's plant shelf, and something hilarious happened with the neighbors this week. I just want to point it out.
Okay.
So in our house, Zoe is the plant person, 110%. I'm in no way connected, like involved with plants. I was really bad, despite recently having gone to school and back to school and taking plant courses at school. So this was prior to me telling anyone I was going back to school. So the neighbors recently, they had me over in their house to because they moved in and I'd never seen their house. And our neighbor Jenna was like, "Hey Steve, I need you to come over here. You're the plant guy. I need you to show me this." So all the neighbors think that I'm the plant guy in the house, and I just roll with it. And meanwhile, it is 100% Zoe. That's everything. And she's like, "I can't believe everyone thinks you're the plant guy."
Disgraceful. I'm going to out you. It's going to be good times. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to put a sign in your yard, like in the middle of the night, so that everybody walks past while you're getting your day going, and it'll just say Zoe is the real plant person.
Yeah. But now that I've completed a literal university course on plants,
that's true.
I'm now actually the plant guy.
Yeah.
But,
do you have a certificate that states that?
I will once I get my my grades back.
Amazing. Well, that's awesome. Well, let's keep going here. We have some stuff to do today, and we have a couple of really wonderful things for the podcast. We have two covers that I didn't want to bury super deep in the episode, so we're going to hear some covers shortly. And it's wonderful because they're both super different. One is by our longtime friend and collaborator on the podcast, Stephen Yarushi. If people remember Stephen's covers that he did for the Night Letters and Note to Self episodes, both are wonderful, and they are actually on the compilation album that we did that came out when the book came out. So Stephen has a couple of covers on that record. He also collaborated with Paul and Matt Milkowski and Lewis Hodgert for a Today's Empires, Tomorrow's Ashes cover that they did a while back. So Stephen has been on the podcast as a guest. He's a friend. We hang out in real life. And so he collaborated with a guy in Germany named Nils who plays drums, and they made a cover which is so freaking cool. And Nils is on drums and vocals, and Stephen is, from what I can tell, on all stringed instruments, including the tappy bass part, and also did the mixing. So the first cover is so cool, and I know you just heard it.
It's phenomenal. If I had one critique,
yeah,
far too much of my voice in it.
Oh man, I was shocked when I was listening to this. I messaged Steven. I was like, "Is this on purpose? Is this supposed to be how it is?" So that was a pretty funny experience listening to Steven's cover and having a realization that we're on the song. So good times. The second cover is acoustic, and it is from a longtime listener of the podcast named Jeremy, who lives in Germany. And Jeremy wrote me a little blurb and he said, I am a German American jack of all trades in my mid 30s with a background in U.S. history and critical theory. I have been playing unannounced incognito folk punk shows in Germany for some years now, on and off. First songs will be released in fall of 2026, currently at the studio after ending my hibernation. So he goes by he's on Instagram at the handle Agnostic Jeremiad. So
love it.
Agnostic.Jeremiad, I believe. So really, really cool, fantastic cover. And please listen very carefully to Jeremy's narration during the part where there's the radio segment on Propagandhi's version. Jeremy did his own version, and Stephen and Nils did their own version. So there are really cool variations of the narration storytelling at the beginning of the covers for both submissions. So really, really cool. Any other thoughts on that before we hear these covers?
No, I mean, I think they're two of some of the best covers we've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so let's get to this first one by Stephen and Nils, and then the second one by Jeremy. So please enjoy, because these are very good.
I think we should start with the cover, but I think before the cover...
Upstairs I hear
Best day. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Hey, this is the Agnostic Jeremiad, and I really first got into Propagandhi at the time of the feud with NoFX. Rock against Bush or rock for sustainable capitalism? While I initially identified with the one-celled creature Eric Melvin and Fat Mike were singing about, it were really intellectually challenging bands like Propagandhi or Strike Anywhere that helped me form my worldview. The song Unscripted Moment in particular reminds me of my great-grandmother sharing her experiences growing up in the school system in the 1930s Germany. An authoritarian educational system that didn't tolerate dissent. I must have been 5 or 6 years old when she took me and showed me where the local synagogue used to be. Only recently did I learn more gruesome details about the mistreatment of the Jewish population in my village. We describe the sensation as a tearing in our chest, and there is equality in Freiberg's father's post-war will that breaches through the world's worst speakers and besiegers. Anyone that happens by on their way to somewhere else, clicking through the endless reels and the garbage on the shelves, reflections of ourselves. To consider the cost of all this shit we seem to think we're full of perforated souls, but we're more whole than human beings. Can't wash away that stink. 13 billion years in the making, an unfiltered moment, and scripted encroachment upon the province of routine evil of all too human people, so peace and peaceful, so quick to turn on you. Thought I was fucking out of there, 2 middle fingers in the air. Like a mile wide meteor, it came crashing through my door. And that's just how it goes. And everybody knows ain't too much can be done. All the avarice and greed, puny human hatred, a dare come between two human hearts. Try not to live in fear, truly grateful for every happy moment here. Upstairs I hear her voice, she's softly singing to him, and I become undone. Something wicked this way comes.
All right. So once again, thank you to Stephen, Nils, and Jeremy for your fabulous covers. Those were a long time in the works. Stephen and Nils have been working on that cover for 2.5 years, if you can believe it.
That's I mean, you can tell the time was put into it.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable.
It's really funny too, because I messaged Steven yesterday. What did I say? He said, I've been touching base with Steven about this cover for literally 2 years, because I think the drums were recorded years and years ago. And then Steven's been just jacking around with the recording slowly but surely. And then Steven told me, I said, I've avoided this song for 5 years. And Steven says, I have, I think in part, also avoided it for 2.5. And so this has been quite a hilarious project to get these covers done. But like part of the thing about doing this particular song for the episode is there had to be covers on this song. Right?
Yeah. We can't end without covers.
This is like the episode that is the namesake of the podcast. So how could I not make sure that the pieces were in place before we recorded? So really, really great covers. And I'm really excited about it. So thank you once again, Stephen, Nils, Jeremy. My hat's off to you, all of you, for those fantastic and rocking covers. So if you go to propagandhi.com and go to their music section, propagandhi.com has a note that says, "For H and FR, my two most favorite unscripted moments." So this is actually where the title of the podcast comes from, is that note in the lyrics sheet, moments, because as everybody knows, this song is called Unscripted Moment. And we just took this version that Chris put in the lyric notes on the website and made that the title of the show. So that's where it comes from. And also, I just wanted everybody to know that Chris talked about his parenting in great detail on the Rad Dads podcast. So I mentioned Christian Bassaraba and Brett from Rad Dads podcast a little bit ago. Chris Hanna was on their podcast talking about his parenting. So if you want to hear a really specific conversation with Chris, go to that episode because it's really good. And Christian and Brett have a great show that I've listened to many times over the years. So yeah, go check that out. And I don't know if you were digging around at all on YouTube looking for live performances of this song, but I found some. And the full live versions will be at the very end. The audio from those shows will be ripped and put into the end of the episode. But at the beginning of the Baltimore 2014 performance, Chris kind of pauses and explains what this song is about in his own words. So I just thought that would be useful to put into the very beginning of this episode. So here's Chris Hanna on stage in 2014 in Baltimore, Maryland, talking about what Unscripted Moment is actually
We'll play this fucking song instead of skipping it. This song is called Unscripted Moment. I'll tell you the backstory just because I don't really want to. I don't know. It'll kill more momentum. That's good, right? So this song is called Unscripted Moment, and it's based on this radio show, the archival radio show that was made in New York in like the late 1940s on some Yiddish radio station that doesn't exist anymore. And it was a recording of the father and son that were reunited live on air after the Holocaust. They thought each other was dead, and it's one of the most powerful little pieces of audio I've ever heard on the fucking useless internet. And it stuck with me. I got kids, so I think about it all the time. I'm sure some of you do too. And sadly, or tragically, ironically, I dedicate it to the people of Gaza, the parents in Gaza and their kids. Here it comes. Here it is.
All right. And we will put that at the end of the episode as well, so you can hear that again and also hear the entire performance of that song, as well as another live performance I found. But Steve, you said it at the top. End of an era. This is the last 1989 to 2024 Propagandhi song episode. This is the last Failed States episode. We have now done episodes on every single song from every 7-inch, 10-inch, split, EP, LP. This is all of them.
I'm trying to go back and think, have I done a song from every record? I'm not sure I have.
I think you probably have at this point.
Did I do a Less Talk? Oh, I did public service disservice announcement on Less Talk.
That was a good one, too. That was a spicy episode.
What did I do from Empires?
Did you do...
Oh, I did COINTELPRO, obviously.
Oh, yeah. COINTELPRO was super recent. Yeah.
Did I do anything from Potemkin? We did Fidelis.
Oh, yeah, Fidala with Chevy.
Yeah.
Great. That was a great cover, by the way. I think you have. I think you've been on here long enough to...
I think I've done so few like song episodes. I think I've only done one per record. On the show for 3 years, I've done 7 episodes.
But you know what? Like, we did that one of the most monumental accomplishments that you and I have done was that 30th anniversary of How to Clean Everything episode.
And guess what next year is?
I know, the 30th anniversary of Less Talk More Rock. So obviously, anybody out there listening, if you have any covers that you want to do from Less Talk More Rock, I mean, I'm willing to give it a go to see if we can whip together a 30th anniversary of Less Talk More Rock
At least
episode.
Gives us a 4-year break before the 30th anniversary of Empires.
That would be, yes, that will be nice. So anybody out there who wants to do something special for Let's Talk More Rock, please hit me up, because why the heck not, right? But yeah, so Steve, tell me your comprehensive view of Failed States as an LP. Give me some ranking stuff.
So Failed States is, I would say it's probably the Propagandhi album I've listened to the least out of all Propagandhi albums.
Including the new one?
Including the new one.
Wow, interesting.
That's
a little surprising to me.
Failed States never really hit with me like all the rest of them did. Obviously, I still enjoy it because it's a Propagandhi record, but I find myself always going more towards just the records that kind of hit more home. Like I'm a big Empires guy. I'm a big supporting cast guy. Like I love Potemkin, but this one for some reason, I think when it came out, I was more involved in other things, so it just kind of slipped me when it originally came out. So, but Unscripted Moment is definitely my favorite song on the record.
Yeah, it has become mine. Well, this and Devil's Creek.
So like I got Unscripted Moment, Note to Self, Failed States, and Cognitive Suicide. Those are the standout tracks for me.
Nice. Well, we did the Cognitive Suicide episode together as well from this record.
Yeah, so those are my standout tracks. But yeah, Unscripted Moment is definitely it's definitely a standout song. And I think, like, to be honest, I think it would hit home even more if I had children.
Mm-hmm. It does. Yeah, I mean, it changed for me. This record came out a year before I became a parent, and then it completely changed a year later. So it really, really does shift a little bit, but the song is it's almost impossible to talk about because of it's one of those big picture songs about just humanity in general and what's good about being a person and what sucks about being a person. So yes, I'm going with this and Devil's Creek as my two most important Failed States songs, because of what they represent, about life. They're just two songs that really pull at the heartstrings emotionally for me. So I'm going with those two as my top ones. So yeah, I love Failed States. This is Keith's favorite Propagandhi record. For anybody that remembers the original co-host Keith, this is his favorite record that they've done. I wonder if At Peace has displaced Failed States for Keith. I don't actually know. I'll try to find out. Maybe we'll find out together sometime soon. So, but yeah, good stuff. I love this record. I listened to it actually yesterday in the car with my kid. I punished her for 30 straight minutes listening to this record.
Yeah, I listened to it yesterday for the first time in like its entirety. Oh God, I want to say in 10 years.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. Well, I cannot say that for me. I listen to it a lot more regularly than that. But it's I'm glad that we finally are here to wrap this all up. And something that's interesting too about this record that everybody will remember is that a few years ago they remixed and they remastered the record. And I'm wondering if one of the reasons I didn't like it as much as Supporting Cast when it came out is because for me, Supporting Cast is the all-timer, right? I mean, to me, that is the Propagandhi record that I don't know if it will ever be displaced for myself personally. And when Failed States came out, I just felt like it was a step down from where they were on Supporting Cast, which was very disappointing to me at the time. And then after I saw them play these songs live in St. Louis in 2012 at a club called the Firebird, which no longer exists, it shot way up. So seeing it live really helped for me. But I'm wondering if one of the reasons it didn't connect with me in 2012 was the sonic nature of it all. Because I like the new version more. It's a more palatable listen. So I'm wondering if one of the reasons I didn't like it as much in 2012, and I thought it was a step down from Failed States, is because of the audio and the mastering job that the band themselves were so displeased with. I have no way of knowing. All I know is that this record didn't hit me as hard as Supporting Cast had in 2009.
So you're a little audiophile over there.
Hey man, look at me. I'm very good at this. I'm super technically adept at audio. But I don't know. Maybe that's not a reason, but maybe it is. Who knows? Because they fixed the record up themselves, and it does sound a little nicer now. I like the way the guitars sound more on the second version. But yeah, so I'm glad that we're finishing up Failed States finally. Without rambling too much more, I got a bunch of voicemails from listeners for this episode, and I'm telling you, man, we got some good voicemails here. And I'm not going to spoil them, but check these out. Let's hear from our call-ins.
Hey, Greg. Not sure if this is going through or not, but anyway, Jord here. Just wanted to say thanks for your 260 episodes covering 35 years. Certainly the impressive, albeit quite insane accomplishment, but just wanted to say very much appreciated. I kind of can't believe the depth that you went through over these years, but anyway, thanks again, and I hope we cross paths again down the road sometime soon. Okay, take it easy, Greg.
Hey, Greg. This is Todd from Propagandhi here, just saying congratulations on all your episodes and apparently 500,000 downloads, which is a hell of a lot. You get, I guess, a gold record for that one. And, yeah, we appreciate all your effort and hard work and interest in the band and working hard to make us sound good and somewhat intelligent, hopefully, which we are not. And, yeah, it's been awesome having you doing it and meeting you at the shows, getting your books, doing your stuff, doing more than your PhD. And, yeah, we appreciate it all. All the best to you. And hello, listeners. All right. Have a great one, Greg, man. Hopefully we'll see you again sometime soon. Take care.
Hey, Greg. It's Beeve calling. So congrats on making your way through all those songs and all those podcasts. You sent an email recently and you mentioned how you've worked harder on these podcasts episodes and on the book than on either of your university degrees. And you have jokingly asked what that says about you. Well, I think that actually speaks to the power of music. And I can relate. Most of the things that I put obsessive effort into in my life are also music related. And your obsessive efforts have reached thousands of people who are all connected by their mutual love of this band from Winnipeg. So, I don't know, I think that's pretty cool. So again, congrats, and good luck to whatever you've got planned next. Take it easy.
Hey, this is Corey from California. I might be calling too late to get in on the episode, but that's okay, because I'm just calling to say thanks. I've listened to every minute of every episode. And not only have I learned so much about this incredible band that we all love, but also feel like I've learned a lot about the world. And I feel like I'm a better person because of it. So much appreciated. Greg, Steve, Keith, anyone who's guest hosted or contributed to the podcast in any way. Congratulations. Quite the accomplishment what you guys have done. Hopefully this is not the last episode, and hopefully you will eventually tackle At Peace, but no rush, probably another 7 years before they make another album. But seriously, thanks, friends.
Hey, Greg, Keith, and Steve. It's Jordan, a.k.a. Consider the Birds from Charlottesville, Virginia. I wanted to drop a note of love and gratitude for your work in the podcast these past years. It has really helped me deepen my appreciation for a band that I already love, and it's given me insights into songs that I may have breezed past. One such song that comes to mind is the episode on Cop Just Out of Rain, which after listening to the episode, I think that was like one of the earliest episodes, like one of the first 5. Yeah, after that episode, it definitely became one of my favorite Propagandhi songs. So grateful for each of y'all and the work you put on the pod over the years. Keep it going. Especially, as the band is, thankfully not dead yet. Shout out to the Red Wing Blackbird at the end of Devil's Creek. Peace.
Hi, my name's Jay Simpson. I saw this number on the Propagandhi podcast story today about Unscripted Moments, one of my favorite Propagandhi songs of all time. And, I don't know what to say about it other than it's got the quintessential grunt, somewhere in front of the 2-minute mark. But the way the song builds and then eases off into this beautiful breakdown and then crescendos again is something that it gives me goosebumps any time. I couldn't stop listening to it when the album came out. And I think just the lyrics in that breakdown, maybe at the 3-minute mark, where it starts crescendoing towards the end of the song, is the melody and the lyrics are is interwoven beautifully, masterfully done. And then what I like is that after the lyric, something wicked this way comes, there's this barely audible, like, oh, and it kind of like happens in the background that you have to listen to a few times. Like, was I hearing that? And part of the song that you wish could just you could turn up just that one specific part. But I listen to it often, and thanks for chatting about it on the podcast. Love the podcast, by the way. But yeah, what a great tune! It's got all the elements, baby. It's got all the great things we love: speed, slow down, breakdown, crescendo, and and some little tricky little things in there. But cheers.
Welcome to Unscripted Moments, a podcast about Propagandhi. Today, we are looking back on the long run, the existence, and the success of the podcast itself. My name is John Danik. I will be your host for this voicemail message. But in all seriousness, I want to congratulate everyone at Unscripted Moments LLC, all the personnel and staff, for a truly impressive and admirable thing that you all have built. Congratulations to Keith, Steve, and Greg. You guys did a truly amazing thing with this podcast. And thank you for it. I am a music listener who is terrible at deciphering the meanings of lyrics. And turns out I didn't know what most Propagandhi songs were about. And I didn't know that until I listened to the respective episodes of this show from you all. So truly, you've done a service, at least to me. That's huge. And you finished a massive task that you took unto yourselves. So truly, congratulations and thank you. But in addition to the podcast, you guys have also built a pretty incredible community, and one that I enjoy participating in, even as I'm at a stage in life where I'm questioning what role the internet should even have in my day-to-day life. I do think that the Discord and the people who interact online there are one of the true few goods to come from the internet. So, and lastly, you brought Paul Hodgert into my life, so you will be hearing from my lawyer soon. Expect that in the mail in some form. So signing off, this is John Danik. Thank you. Unscripted Moments, podcast about Propagandhi. I'll see you guys online. Bye.
Hi, Gerg. Hi, Keith. My name is Paul. I just found the pod a couple of weeks ago, and I've been just racing right through it. Started at the beginning. I figured, I don't know what's going to happen, so I wanted to make sure I got the whole plot all the way through. I'm up to Note to Self episode. Really good so far. Just want to say I'm really loving how sort of in-depth you're going. I actually grew up in Winnipeg, and I've been a Propagandhi fan for quite some time. In fact, I was actually at the show that they recorded, that they released as a DVD. Oh gosh, a number of years ago now. That would have been 20. So I just wanted to say that Gerg and Keith, I really love what you're doing, and I hope you guys keep it up, and I hope you don't ever stop. I'm just really excited for the future. I know that I've got so many episodes, and I'm sure by the time I catch up, Propagandhi will have like at least 3 more records. So you can just keep doing this forever. Can't wait to hear what happens next. I especially want to shout out Keith. You are my favorite host. Just can't get enough of Keith. Okay, take care, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and all the wonderful things that come with that, like celebrating the birth of our Lord and Savior, sweet baby Jesus Christ. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Hey, fellas, it's John Danick calling back again. I know I'm a busy Hollywood player up here in Los Angeles, City of Angels. Yeah, you know it. Just heading up the freeway, head to Beverly Hills. I got a big lunch at Spago today. Wheeling and dealing like I do. And I know I already left a message, but I wanted to retract everything I said. I don't like you guys. I'm John Danick. I'm from Hollywood. You got that, you asshole?
All right. So thanks to everybody that called in, specifically David Gillis, a.k.a. the Beeve. Thanks, Beeve. Thank you, Jord, and thank you, Todd, for taking the time to call in and comment on what has been a 5-year journey talking about your band. So I appreciate those voicemails very, very much, as well as everybody else that called in, Danik, Paul, everybody. So thanks a lot to everybody who called in. It's awesome to hear from you. It's really cool to know that people still care about this project, even though we have beaten this horse dead as hell for 5 years.
The voicemails have me wishing that, so I grew up listening to lots of AM radio.
Mm-hmm.
I love call-in radio. I
Nice.
love it. I love it so much. I wish.
Well,
we
are you glad I do these voicemails?
Oh yeah,
then?
I love them. But I wish we could take callers.
Yeah, like live.
Yeah, I wish we could take live callers and just open it up and just have people call and just whatever they want to talk about. Let's hash it out.
Man, you know what's so fun? I have such a vivid memory from when I was a kid of going to St. Louis Blues games, and then my dad and I would get in the car after the game and we'd turn on the radio immediately for the post-game show.
Oh, yeah.
Because we'd be sitting in traffic forever, so we listened to the takeaways, and they would always have call in and post hockey game.
Oh yeah,
anger calls are unbeatable. I mean, football is pretty good too, but man, when a team loses, the post-game call-in show is just like the most definitive crash out moment for middle-aged men to call in and freak out, and it is never better.
Do you watch Bob's Burgers?
I've seen Bob's Burgers many times.
Do you know? So there's an actual episode in Bob's Burgers about this where Teddy gets banned from calling the radio station because he yells at them about hockey too much after the games.
Okay, well, we may have to find that episode number because I don't remember that one off the top of my head. But I always was a huge fan of those post game call in crash outs. I think about doing them often for the Bills. There is a hotline that you can call and rant about Bills stuff. I've never called it, but I have considered it many times.
That's so. I would love to hear your call in specifically.
Well, yeah, I am a doomer when it comes to the Buffalo Bills, through and through. I am a pure of heart doomer. All right, so Steve, maybe before we get into some more unscripted moment stuff, maybe we can chat about just some regular life shit. What do you think?
I would love to. I have a friend that I would like to shout out for just very quickly. I would like to shout out and congratulate my friend Patrina on her recent engagement.
Hey,
congratulations, Patrina.
Yes. Yes, I'm very, very happy for Patrina. She is now she's now going to be stuck with me, and she gets to hear about Propagandhi and podcasting for the rest of her life. So I hope that she realizes what she is in for. She is, yeah, the love of my life. I love her very much, and she's stuck with me forever. And we got engaged on Thanksgiving, and so what an amazing week this has been for me, truly. Like, just I never in a million years thought that I could have such an amazing relationship. So I just feel so grateful and consumed with gratitude. And we are now thick in the wedding planning stages, shooting for the fall 2026. So let's go. Let's do this.
I love it so much. I want to say that I don't think it's necessarily because of the engagement, but Patrina's really fallen in the football standings.
I know.
I don't want to say it's your fault.
She took her eye off the ball. That's for sure. Yeah. The vibes have run their course in the Pick'em League rating system. So, I'm hoping that she's okay with her fall from the top of the pile, because
her consolation prize is Greg.
They're engaged. It's me. It's me. And it's actually really fitting if she falls to the bottom, because who else is at the bottom of the Pick'em League? Me. I have been down there ever since I forgot to put in my picks one time, and I lost like 12 games in 1 week. So it stinks. But welcome to the bottom of the pile, Patrina.
Hey, at least you have company in the bottom feeders part now.
Yeah. And who else is down there? Someone named Becca?
Yeah, Zoe's best friend, Becca.
Oh, well, she's down there in the muck. So.
She missed 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. So I have no excuse. Like, wow, if I'm down there with her and she missed double the amount of picks that I missed, oh my God, that's insane. Yeah, so, but anyway, thank you, Steve. And I'm sure Patrina will be delighted to hear that as well. What else we got? What else has been going? You just saw Blind Guardian.
I just saw Blind Guardian on Saturday.
Man. I got engaged. You saw Blind Guardian. I mean, what more is there to life?
I did. We saw Blind Guardian. Was it last year we saw them? Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. At Rebel in Toronto.
So for them to come back a year later,
yeah,
virtually unheard of.
Yeah.
Even Hansi, when he got up on stage, he said, "Last time when I said we would be back soon, I was lying. I didn't think we'd be back." He's like, "But here we are. We're back."
Wow.
So, despite now that they've been back twice in like 2 years, I think we're going 5+ years till they come back over here at this point.
How long have they been a band? How much longer can they do this?
They've been a band since '84.
How can they do this that much longer? Do you know 5 more years? You think they got 5 more years in them?
I mean, they don't tour a ton.
Yeah.
They spend 4 years working on a record. Like,
man,
they're big enough. They do literally whatever they want. They don't follow any rules. They, like, when you've reached that level of status, like, and like, I understand most people listening have no idea who they are. Literally none, no clue. But like in Europe, they're like, they play big shows.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, man, like going with you, we did a Blind Guardian recap episode on this podcast where Steve and I recorded in the car after the show. Very, very fun. Really fun little bonus episode that we did, which is part of the reason why it took us 5 years to do this episode, because we did so many freaking bonus episodes, but a very good one. And I got to tell you, man, Time Stands Still at the Iron Hill, that song is like an all-timer for me now. Every time I go running, like every time that I'm running, like I just want to hear that song. So you've really introduced something awesome to my life by bringing Blind Guardian to my awareness, because that was one of those bands that for years and years I would always see their stuff on the shelf at the record store, but just would never like invest in checking out. But now I have, and I have you to thank for that.
Well, I'm glad you vibed with it, because when I was at the show on Saturday, so I'll give you a little bit of a brief recap. So shows went on sale. I was like, I could probably get guest list for this, but I'm gonna buy a ticket because there were seats, and I'm like, I want to make sure I get a seat So I bought a ticket. Zoe and I went. We had seats. We get there. It is literally the worst seat. Can't see the stage. Literally cannot see the stage. I'm like, this is tragedy in play here. So I sat down for the first two bands, which I didn't really vibe with at much at all. And I watched the hockey game on my phone while I was just during the first two bands. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let this ruin me in my night. We got our jackets. We walked literally right up to the stage, and then we stood at the stage. And I went harder for this show than I've gone at any show, maybe in 15 years.
Wow.
I was vibing so hard. I was just like screaming every lyric to every song. Just like I had my own little space, and Zoe commented, she's like, you're not great with spatial awareness, but I was like, I was vibing too hard. Like sometimes I was just really into it. And I was like, I'm going to live my best life tonight, and I'm going to have the best Blind Guardian concert. And they played the Somewhere Far Beyond album front to back, which unreal. But it really cemented just how much I love Blind Guardian. Like it's not even a question how much they're my favorite band. Like,
yeah,
they are just, I'm like, no one is coming in and doing what they're doing.
My favorite thing about you being a co-host on this podcast, the Propagandhi is like your sixth favorite band.
Yeah, maybe. I don't even know.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty good. I really enjoy that about your co-hosting, because I know for a fact that you like Blind Guardian and Typo Negative more.
Yeah, but it's just, the Blind Guardian are just such a special band, and I've loved Blind Guardian for over 25 years.
Yeah.
They've been my favorite band, and every chance I get to see them is literally like just a gift descending from the heavens for me to be able to experience this perfect moment.
That's what it's an unscripted moment, if you will. Sorry. That's great. Well, I saw one show recently. I actually saw Jack's Mannequin at History in Toronto. Jack's Mannequin, fronted by Andrew McMahon from Something Corporate, one of Patrina's favorite bands, and we went up, and that's our third time seeing Andrew McMahon together live, which was really nice. We saw him very early on in our relationship, and so Andrew McMahon has been a pretty consistent part of our entire 3-year relationship, right up to getting engaged. So I now saw History in Toronto, which is cool. I've never been there as a venue. We didn't hit any traffic on the way in or out of Toronto, from Buffalo to Toronto and back on, it was a Friday night.
Hope you bought lottery tickets.
Dude, it was the smoothest drive in and out of Toronto I've ever had in the last 7 years of
living
living
made up
here.
for that terrible drive we had when you came for Propagandhi.
God, that was the worst. The worst part about that was that I actually had somewhere to be in the middle of the afternoon for the book signing thingy, and we were just stuck, and it was the worst. But yeah, so that's what we did. We rode up with our friends Tony and Lynette, who tailgate with us at the Bills games. So that was awesome to get some one-on-one time with Tony and Lynette. And it was super fun time. Stu and Jamie Lynn went down. They were supposed to go with us, and they actually went on the Coheed and Cambria cruise, and so they had to bail because they went on the Coheed cruise instead.
Hey, why not? That sounds awesome. Shout out to Stu and Jamie Lynn.
Yeah, they had a good time. And then there's a recap episode on Hard Lore of that exact cruise. So I've been slowly making my way through that recap episode. And I've been listening to those Twitch Fits records a lot. And man,
I haven't listened to a Hard Lore episode in probably 4 months.
Damn, dude, I've just been listening to those Twitch Fits records. They are
They're great.
the Cough Cool cover. Yeah. Oh my God, man. So if anybody out there hasn't heard those volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Twitch Fits by Twitching Tongues, wow, you got to hear that stuff.
You also saw the Goo Goo Dolls recently.
Oh, dude, how could I forget? So a couple weeks ago, the Goo Goo Dolls announced 2 nights of shows at Town Ballroom in downtown Buffalo. So back in August, when we saw the Goo Goo Dolls and Dashboard Confessional, they sold out KeyBank Center, which is where the Buffalo Sabres play. Sold it out, 20,000 people. And then they announced the show in a club that holds 750. Like,
yeah, like this is the Goo Goo Dolls playing in the same venue that Greg and I saw Snapcase and Earth Crisis at.
yes, exactly. And the Bouncing Souls and Hot Water Music, those bands play in Town Ballroom. And so I was like, and it was they donated all the proceeds to a food drive organization here in Western New York. They raised, I think it was like that. I think they raised like 150 grand or something like that, which is incredible from these two shows. And I was like, I'm going to try to get tickets. So Patrina was trying to get tickets. I was trying to get tickets. And I refreshed my ticket browser at 9:59:59. And I refreshed it, put the tickets in my basket, got them. She was in the waiting room the whole time. Like, she didn't get anything. And I just, boom, was right in there. So we got to see an absolutely phenomenal Goo Goo Dolls set. They didn't have an opener. It was just the Goo Goo Dolls for an hour and 45 minutes. And it was pricey, but what an amazing experience that was to watch some of the biggest rock hits of the last 30 years in a tiny club, in a hometown show for a charity event. Absolutely amazing. Goo Goo Dolls are pillars of the community, kind of like Robbie Takak from Goo Goo Dolls. People don't know this about him, but like he has a local music festival here in Buffalo every September called Music is Art, which is humongous, gigantic. He owns a recording studio here. He records tons of local bands at that studio. He is an absolutely amazing proponent of the arts in Buffalo. So man, I'm a massive Goo Goo Dolls fan. I think those guys are great, and the shows were awesome. So if anybody hasn't heard the Goo Goo Dolls as well, like, go back and listen to their first 4 records all the way through. And I promise you, punk rock people, you're going to think that the Goo Goo Dolls are the most slept on punk rock band of the late 80s and early 90s when you hear
that
those
first
record. 3
records. I was listening to the first record
crazy
yesterday or the day before in the car, and I picked Zoe up from somewhere and we're listening to it. She's like, "This is the Goo Goo Dolls?" I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, is this the Descendants? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's that good. And like, Johnny Resnick is an unbelievable lead guitar player. Robbie Takak is an awesome, like, Frank Navetta style bassist in those early days. So good. So good.
The Goo Goo Dolls are playing Hamilton in April.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're playing the new arena.
Amazing. Well, if anybody, like, people need to open their minds to Goo Goo Dolls, right? Like, you need to just start at the very beginning and then work your way through, and it will blow your mind.
Speaking of opening your minds.
Yeah. Drugs? We doing drugs now?
I also saw another show.
What do you see?
I need people to open their minds to the fact that I saw my favorite Canadian band.
Blue Rodeo?
Blue Rodeo.
You saw Blue Rodeo?
I saw Blue Rodeo at the end of November during Grey Cup weekend. I saw Blue Rodeo, and
awesome.
Absolutely magical. What a underrated, underappreciated juggernaut of a Canadian band. People think they should have the status that everyone gives to the Tragically Hip.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I can see it for sure. Everything I've ever heard by Blue Rodeo is awesome. I just need maybe a little bit of a primer to get me into the fandom, because as I get older, like, my music tastes have shifted so much and expanded so much that I'm ready for my Blue Rodeo era.
I'll get you there. Yeah, it was unbelievable night.
It's so funny that you said my favorite Canadian band, and I immediately was like, Blue Rodeo, because like we're on a podcast about a Canadian band, which it's very funny. I am still the resident Propagandhi is my favorite band person on the show. We don't need 2. We don't need both of us to think that Propagandhi is the best band in the history of rock. We just need one of us, and that's me. So I'm happy to hold down that role.
It's funny. I saw on Reddit, like, of people complaining about this show, be like, that other host doesn't even like the band.
Really? You read about us? We're on Reddit?
Yeah, someone was complaining about the show. They're like, I like Keith better. The new guy hates the band.
The new guy does not hate the band.
Yeah, keep complaining. Don't care.
Yeah, don't listen. I mean, whatever. Like, it's funnier that way. It's funnier and more enjoyable if we're both, like, if we have different opinions, which is the best part. Any other news to report or
Um,
fun stuff? We got the Bills that
the
are very up and
Bills,
down and driving me bananas.
it is a roller coaster. I
Dude.
mean, I'm happy they did not lose to stupid Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, me too. Like Aaron Rodgers looked like he got the shit kicked out of him, like his face looked punched out, and
It was hard not to laugh. And it
yeah,
made me feel like a bad person, but man, he
when
sucks. Like
when Aaron Rodgers looks unhappy, no one in the NFL is more unhappy than Aaron Rodgers. Like he hates his teammates, he hates his coaches. Every single play, he just looks like he's so mad, and it just makes me so happy that this guy who has everything in the world and is a millionaire many, many, many times over is just completely miserable. Like I know that there's no one in the world unhappier than the president of the United States. No one. Like, and that makes me so happy because he's such a piece of shit. And Aaron Rodgers kind of occupies that same space for me, you know?
And they both, they're both terrible people.
Yeah. And so Aaron Rodgers looked so unhappy the other night, and whatever. I'm the Bills are giving me palpitations though. When they were getting sacked over and over and over, when Josh was getting sacked during that Texans game, I was at the Goo Goo Dolls and we were like checking the updates on my phone, and Patrina goes, Bills bad. And I was like, oh God, well the Goo Goo Dolls are playing, so let's just focus on that.
Like the Josh set a record for most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback ever. He now holds the NFL record for most rushing touchdowns
by a quarterback.
And so oddly enough, he's second in the league this year in rushing touchdowns.
Nice. Very good. Who's first? Who's
Taylor.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor is carrying that team.
But they're starting to show cracks.
I know. Yeah, I don't think the Colts have what it takes to go all the way. And the fact that they gave up their two first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, who is now injured for how knows long, kind of funny.
I think the team that everyone, I mean, maybe I'm showing a little bit of bias just because of what they've recently done, but the Texans, that defense,
I know, they're scary.
Is terror. I would not want to have to play that defense in the playoffs.
Yeah, Will Anderson is a terrifying individual.
Oh my God. It is like just seeing when they played the game against the Bills, just looking at the pass rushers, just seething.
Yeah.
On every play, just knowing that they're about to dominate the Bills was unreal. Like it was the saddest thing to watch.
I know, and like it really does show you that the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have the highest paid defense in the entire NFL, paper tiger, man. Like TJ Watt has been pretty quiet this year, but
James Cook just ran and Ray Davis just ran all over them.
Yeah, the most rushing ever in the history of the Steelers in their stadium, like by an opponent. Wow. So we'll see. We'll see what Bills we get. We got a home game this weekend against the Bengals, and Joe Burrow's back. I used to hate the Bengals so much, but like Joe Burrow is just so good, and I like watching him play. So it really is going to be.
I wonder if the NFL
kind of a stressful game.
If the NFL's regretting moving that from the 4:25 national game back to a 1:00 game because they moved it based on Burrow not playing.
Yeah,
and now Burrow's back, and that game is now you got Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow, which is technically a primetime matchup. And now they just stuck it at 1:00 with all this other stuff, and they put a garbage game at the 4:25 game now.
Ooh, nice. Well, that's good. That's good for my family though, because Patrina will be at the game, and then she'll be home at like 5:30, which means we can all have dinner together. So I am very in favor of the move to the 1:00 slot. It's just better for our household.
Hey, that works.
All right. Well, cool. Well, let's chat about some more failed states stuff and unscripted moment stuff. I dug through the archives of reviews and Unscripted Moment when this album got reviewed. Very overlooked track. If you go back and you search Failed States Propagandhi Review from the time when the record came out, not a lot of them mention Unscripted Moment, and I wanted to find some ones that did. So I found one from Greg Pratt. Greg Pratt is a huge Propagandhi fan. He's written about them many times for Exclaim, and on September 4th, 2012, Greg's review is wonderful, but about Unscripted Moment, he says, While opener Note to Self is the calm before the storm, the rest of the album is the storm in a big way no one could have predicted. Status Update is Propagandhi's most raging hardcore thrasher ever. Side note, I disagree with that. It's actually Rattan Kane from this record is the heaviest Propagandhi song of all time. I will stand on that. Back to the review. While Unscripted Moment is their gulp tenderest song. So he refers to this as the tenderest song.
I mean, the new record has some tender moments on it too. Now,
absolutely,
but yeah,
it does. Yeah, but this is in 2012.
Yeah.
So up to this point, I would have said that Without Love was the tenderest moment before this, and this is one that definitely is up on that podium for me for things that pull at the heartstrings. Like this and Without Love to me are like songs that are just way up. And Zucosis, those are like my trio, right? I would put and God, now Rented PA. So there's a through line of these songs, right? We got Without Love, we've got Unscripted Moment, we've got Adventures at Zucosis, we've got Rented PA. This is one of those songs in that ongoing plot line of Propagandhi songs. And then Sheldon Burney, friend of the podcast, author of Where Pavement Meets the Sand, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, who was at the book release event. What's up, Sheldon? Sheldon wrote a review in Stylus magazine. Let me find the thing. Yes. This is what Sheldon said. He said, "It's tough to write an unbiased review about an album that you've been eagerly anticipating for years. Harder even still when the album lives up to and surpasses the expectations you've built up in your brain over that time. So fuck it. Propagandhi's 6th full-length studio release, Failed States, is a goddamn barn burner that hits all the right spots. The band is in fine form here. Drums pounding an unholy tattoo. Bass rumbling with impending doom, and guitars blazing throughout. Guitar player Chris Hanna and bass master Todd Kowalski, rounded up by George Samoleski on the Skins and David Gillis, exchange vocal duties more than any release since Today's Empires, Tomorrow's Ashes. Lyrically, Hanna tackles childhood isolation in Devil's Creek, family and fatherhood in Unscripted Moments. He actually wrote Moments in the review. Funny. And the little things that make life bearable, things I like, while Kowalski hits on the perils of winter cycling, transphobia, and child prostitution. So these are the two reviews that I found that mention Unscripted Moment specifically. And Sheldon wrote another huge article about Propagandhi called Rec Hockey and Failed States in Stylus magazine. And it's a really cool article that everybody can find if you just Google search Propagandhi, Rec Hockey and Failed States, Stylus magazine. The text for that will pop up, and it's very enjoyable to read. So go check that out. But yeah, those are a couple of the pieces of press that I found that I personally enjoyed from this time period.
I keep trying to think back like to 2012, and I'm like, I genuinely can't remember 2012.
Yeah.
To know even where, like, why, and I can't even remember my first time listening to this record. I don't remember anything from this period. So it's very weird for me because this is my biggest Propagandhi blind spot, and a blind spot in period of my life. Like 2012 was around like a really bad period for me. So I don't remember any of it. I think my brain's just doing it to protect myself from stuff. But yeah, it was...
Man, 2012 was a very kind of a bad period for me as well. I'd finished my master's degree at the University of Saskatchewan, and I had moved back to Missouri to work on a PhD at the University of Missouri. But like, I went to the PhD program because I didn't have another job offer. Like, I didn't want to do a PhD, really. I didn't know what I wanted to study. I didn't care about that kind of stuff. I did it because it's the only thing that I had on offer going for me in the world of education. And so it's a very lost and meandering period for me. Just kind of bumbling through grad school classes that I didn't care about, but trying to like not flunk out because I had like an assistantship that paid the tuition and gave me some funding to live on. But yeah, very weird period for me as well. very mid-20s, mid to late 20s, feeling very lost kind of thing.
Yeah, I was in my 30s. I was working in television at the time and literally just had no life in me.
Yeah. Well, what do you like about the musical performance of this song?
I mean, I like that it's a ripping song. It's definitely it's the exact style of a Propagandhi song that I like.
Mm. This one stylistically reminds me of Tertium Non Dater from supporting cast. It's because it's got like the funky time signature stuff. It's not super. It is fast in parts, but then it has like lots of stops and starts, and it's
Yeah.
very like halting in a lot of the parts. And this is a really interesting one. I was playing along to this on drums last night, so I got an electronic drum set, by the way, a Roland. It's sick, and I love it because I can play drums now again and not get a headache within 10 seconds, and not drive my neighbors or my cats insane. And I was trying to play along to this last night. Man, this is hard stuff. Jord, I can't lock into Jord, man. Like, I was just trying to play along to the song at peace, and I think Jord starts in a different spot than me, because whenever Jord will come in with what seems to be a straightforward beat, I'm always off on him. Whereas, like, whenever Yuri from MXPX comes in, I'm right on his beat the whole time. Like, so easy. And so this is something that's Jord's drumming has always been such a mystery to me because I can never really lock on to him properly.
Wait till you get to the moving speed up and speed down of certain Blink-182 songs.
Oh man.
That just constantly change time without warning.
Yeah, you just get lost all of a sudden. This is a very hard song on drums. The beat is all over the place. It's super interesting. I love the way that his vocals are really synced up with Jord's cymbal hits, and it's like one of those things that you can really only do when you've been friends with someone for 40 years and playing music together for 35 years, you know?
It's like it's the cool thing about like music partnerships, right? You know, like Chris and Jord, and like obviously Todd is involved as well, but like Chris and Jord were in the band far preceding Todd, but like they have such a good musical partnership. And like I think about like the dudes in Green Day, unbelievable music partnership that they have. Like when you're doing something for so long with someone, you just know what they're going to do, and being able to write songs that's in everyone's wheelhouse is just so efficient.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other like, you know, long-standing punk rock like music partnerships, and I'm like I'm drawing a blank right now.
I mean, it's Greg Hetson and Jay Bentley is one that really comes to mind, because like if you think about that current lineup of the band, I mean Brian Baker didn't join until 94.
Yeah.
So it's like Jay Bentley and Greg Graffin. Did I say Graffin earlier or Hetson?
You said Hetson.
Oh, not Hetson. Greg Graffin and Jay Bentley.
I was just letting it happen.
Yeah, no, that was definitely.
I was gonna let the comments come for you online.
God, like that Billy Bragg episode we did like 4 years ago. Yeah, so this is a special one. However, have you ever watched The Bass Teacher on Low End University on YouTube?
I watch wrestling and Blind Guardian videos.
Okay.
YouTube.
There is a guy on YouTube named Low End University. His name is Mark Michell. And Mark has become a new Propagandhi fan in the last couple of years. And I think Mark comes from like more of like the metal and prog world. But he does these amazing YouTube videos where he breaks down performances by bass and by rhythm. And it's awesome because he just does like live reaction videos where he's hearing stuff for the first time, but then he just like learns it on the spot and kind of demonstrates what's going on. So Mark has done tons of Propagandhi stuff over the last couple years. He did an hour and 45-minute video about At Peace on his Patreon when the record came out. I'm not into instant reaction videos except for like this guy, right? It's not really my thing. I don't like instant reaction videos for the most part. I don't like being told what to think about a piece of music for somebody who's hearing shit for the first time ever. Like, that doesn't groove with me.
Based on Greg saying that, I need you to all take that with a grain of salt because of our upcoming At Peace episode.
Someday. Yeah. I don't love that kind of stuff. I don't do that here on purpose, right? But Mark is really,
except for when we do it on purpose.
Shut up. No, yeah. Forget everything you said. But Mark is really interesting at it, and Jason Livermore has mentioned Mark on this podcast before when we did the At Peace making of episode. But Mark did a 17-minute breakdown of the bass, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like trying to break down this music. Mark did it already. So what I did is I hit up Mark. We've been trying to get Mark on the podcast for like a year and a half, but our schedules just don't line up. I'm not really doing interviews anymore. It's just like not where my life is at the moment. I can't lock in an interview very well at the moment. But Mark and we haven't been able to get synced up with doing an original episode, but I hit him up and I was like, hey, can I just like use all the audio from your Unscripted Moment episode and just put the whole entire thing in mine? And he was like, yes, absolutely. So if you like this, go to Mark's YouTube channel. If you've already heard this, skip about 17 minutes forward and we'll be back. But this is Low End University's Mark Michell talking about the bass and the entire song of Unscripted Moment. Thank you to Mark for allowing me to borrow this audio. Really appreciate it. All right, enjoy.
Setup that the bass was gonna kind of be taking the reins on this song. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. Unscripted Moment is from Propagandhi's sixth studio album, Failed States, released in 2012, and I'm reading it was met with very high praise from the band's fan base. Speaking of their fan base, I'm now a really proud card-carrying member. I've become such a huge fan of these guys, and I have our Patreon community to thank for that. They basically steered me into hearing 2 of their full albums recently, and I was blown away both times. You can just tell that this band is comprised of really deep thinkers, and it's just illustrated so immersively within their music, their compositions, their lyrical storytelling, and they just grabbed me really quickly. But I'm told that this album is a little different than the 2 I've heard, so I'm excited to hear it, and I'm excited to just keep exploring their catalog backwards as we go through time. But without further ado, let's get into it. This is Unscripted Moment, which was our second top requested track over at Patreon last month from Propagandhi. Ooh, that stick click was fast. Okay. That was a punchy intro.
I had taken my mother to a concentration camp, from which she never returned. Then I made my way to suburbs of Berlin, where a Catholic family who had been sent of my fathers and brothers gave me shelter. How long did you stay there? Through the rest of the war. In all this time, you haven't seen your father? No, sir. Do you think that you know him?
Oh, that's lovely.
I'm sure I was Mr. Bolton. His son always remembers his father. Well, now, Siegbert, we want you to turn around. See if you know him.
We describe the sensation as a tearing in our chest.
Before I talk about the bass, I've just really come to love his vocals. I went into detail in the last video about that. They just sound so like phone call-ish, like there's not a lot of processing on them. And there actually might be, but it's just the way he sounds. It really reaches out and grabs you anytime he starts singing. So just the way that came in with that setup and this sort of sampled, I don't know if that was a spoken word thing. I was actually listening to the bass there, but what a cool setup. Really punchy intro. Da, 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 stick clicks. Then it went into this really lush section. I didn't look at the track listing, so I'm not sure where this is placed in the album. I've understood that the sequencing of their albums is a huge part of what really grabbed me. I mean, hearing Victory Lap and Supporting Cast all the way through, They nail that. But this is some beautiful bass work here. And thinking back to the two albums I've heard, there's great bass moments, but it's really mixed in with the density of everything going on in the composition. And I've come to love them for all sorts of reasons, but I haven't heard a ton of just exposed bass stuff. So I want to go back and hear that again. I think they're tuned down in E-flat standard. So it's always a little difficult when that happens on these videos. I never know going into them, but this is a nice lyrical kind of bass feature, and the guitar is kind of an ostinato, kind of just picking some stuff in the backgrounds, and the way they just layered the whole thing was very lush. Go back and hear this. Right here.
They had taken my mother to a concentration camp, completely never returned. Then I made my way to suburbs of Berlin, where a Catholic family who had been sent of my father's and mother's gave me shelter. How long did you stay?
Hear that.
Through the rest of the war.
In all this time, you haven't seen your father?
No, sir.
Do you think that you know him after all these years? You know, you were just a young boy once you last saw him.
I'm sure I wasn't supported.
This little layer coming in here, it's on the right channel. I almost missed it the first time. The guitar just adds a bit of subdivision. And those little subtle layers just on one side, there's so much to sink your teeth into with their music, but almost reminds me like a foreshadowing of their usual riffs. Because when I did a Night Letters a while back here on the channel, it just started out. Love their tones. So that kind of reminds me of that. Right here.
I'm sure I wasn't supported. The son always remembered his father.
Well, now, Siegbert, we want you to turn around, see if you know him.
Okay, that bass part. Lyrical, we're kind of going between A flat, D flat, and I've said in recent videos, A flat minor is just a beautiful key to me. Wins a lot of brownie points anytime I hear a song in that key. I think that was the Rise Against video. But lyrical stuff, just kind of eighth note, just going up and down, grabbing notes of the scale. Major, but just kind of riffing around. The tone is interesting here. It's got kind of a throaty drive to it. I'm not sure if I could recreate it on the spot. Sounds like it's picked, but I actually like how you have this really lush guitar thing kind of here. This kind of thing. And the bass tone is kind of abrasive, but in a cool, like it just builds some energy. I think if that was a really jazzy kind of subdued tone, it would be a whole different thing. I want to hear it one more time and let's keep it going.
Through the rest of the war.
In all this time, you haven't seen your father?
No, sir.
Do you think that you know him after all these years? You know, you were just a young boy once you last saw him.
I'm sure I wasn't supported. The son always remembered his father.
Well, now, Siegbert, we want you to turn around, see if you know him.
We describe the sensation.
Great setup there. Another signature thing I've come to love, those hits and the vocals, that unison is so impactful. La, na, na, na. Right with the hits. They're all on that wavelength there. It's just effective. Oh, nice.
The cost of all the shit we seem to think will fill up of all rated souls. We're more whole than human being. Can't wash away that stink. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard a single track from this band yet with this much bass forward stuff. Patreon fam, you guys picked them well. This is a kind of a take on a verse I haven't heard yet. Normally, their guitars are really kind of bouncing back and forth with independent lines. Sometimes they'll complement each other, contrast, rich upper extension chords. I've come to love that about the band. Seems like the bass kind of took the place of that. It almost even sounded like the guitars were just mixed a little quieter to intentionally let you know that they were now in the background, much like that kind of bass feature earlier. But the bass was up there with the vocals, just kind of doing an iteration of what he did earlier, but a little higher up. Bit more chord double stops and intervals too, I think I heard. I gotta hear it again.
Anyone who happens by
This stuff.
on the way to somewhere else, clicking through the endless screens for the garbage on the shelves, reflections of ourselves, to consider the cost of all the shit we seem to think will fill up.
Yeah, if there's a different tuning here, I'm not sure how it might be played, but it sounds like we're up here in D flat. And it's kind of getting this sound a bit. I feel like I hear this. So this interval, just that kind of pretty dissonance. Not dissonant in like this kind of way, but just some of those nines. You know, it'd be basically this chord. I hear a lot of that bubbling under back there. So I don't know if he has an open string. Again, not sure about the tuning, but I just haven't heard a track from these guys with this stuff. This is awesome. And it almost kind of reminds me of what the guitars were doing in the intro. Go to about right here. Like that the drum just keeps us driving.
We'll fill up overrated souls. One more hole than human being. Can't wash away that stink.
Oh, that's a great riff.
13 billion years in the making. I love a filtered moment. And a scripted encroachment upon the province of routine evil.
It's always tough to follow this band. I try.
All too human people. So pious, so peaceful. So quick to turn on you. Thought I was fucking out of here. Two middle fingers in
Holy
the
shit.
air.
Yes.
Like a mile-wide meteor. He came crashing through my door.
This is kind of what I've been wanting to hear from the band. I'm sure it existed. You know, I've only heard 2 albums. I think the comment on this album was it was a bit more in the vein of what I liked about the 2 I've heard. More progressive, if you will. I feel like I throw that term around a lot, but it's a big reason I've come to love the band. This is a really lead-esque piece from Todd. Bold stuff. Just really front and center, weaving in with the vocals. I like this big kind of arpeggio run that happened here.
So pious, so peaceful. So quick to turn on you. Thought I was fucking out of here. Two middle fingers in the air. Like a mile-wide meteor. He came crashing through my door.
It's just almost like a more energetic, higher octave version of what he did in the intro. So maybe that was kind of a foreshadowing setup that the bass was going to kind of be taking the reins on this song. And, you know, nothing could be left to chance with this band. I feel like they really think about this stuff, but that was just a really... just good stuff. I mean, what can you say?
And that's just how it goes. And everybody knows. Ain't too much can be done. Empty avarice and greed and puny human hatreds, the data come between two human hearts. I try not to live in fear. I'm truly grateful.
Cool how the guitar and the vocals are just right in unison here. But it's not even like it's a riff with the vocals. The guitars are playing a chord, and those little upper extension frilly things are kind of matching the vocals. That's a cool kind of a cool duality there, I suppose. All this stuff. I really like that.
Upstairs I hear her voice. She's softly singing. To him and I come undone. Something wicked this way comes.
What the hell was that? Is that tapping?
Singing. To him and I come undone.
It is.
Something wicked this way.
No. What is those notes? That sounds like what that is. Hold on.
To him and I come undone. Something wicked this.
Sounds like just one of those little top G string riffs, but it's almost tricked me because he's done a lot of fill fingerstyle stuff. I don't know if he's using a pick or not. It sounded like it in that one part. He's doing a lot of non-tapping stuff and then snuck this in. That has to be that. Something like that. Oh, this is just full of bells and whistles. Hell yeah.
Upstairs I hear her voice. She's softly singing. To him and I come undone. Something wicked this way comes. And that's just how it goes. That everybody knows. Ain't too much can be done.
Whoa. Okay. Just, yes. Yes. That was great. That's kind of the song I've been wanting to hear from the band. And that says a lot because there's been so many songs I go back and revisit now from Supporting Cast Victory Lap. They're great. Dear Coach's Corner, Teritium Non Detour, Adventures of Zoocosis, Victory Lap title track, Cop Out of Frame. There's tons of them I really like, but I haven't heard a track with this kind of performance from Todd. And maybe he's done some really technical stuff, but some of the supporting cast stuff was really dense. So this was a really cool take on their lush sound, kind of melodic riffing, but it had enough space in the sonic spectrum to just let the bass just shine through. Wow, a lot of stuff I didn't expect to hear. Didn't think I could like this band anymore. I'm very intrigued about this album now. People have suggested it's a bit different, being between the two I've heard. And then we've got their whole earlier catalog to get to eventually, but I'm just going to keep gushing if I keep talking. This is a great request. Thanks to all of you on Patreon who requested this, who voted it up so that I could check it out. I knew we were going to get here eventually, but that's been Unscripted Moment. This has been fun. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. If you'd like to support the channel further, come find us on Patreon, where I've done 2 Propagandhi albums already, plus many others from the punk scene, and we vote on them each month. It's just a total blast. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I love you all. We'll see you in the next one.
All too human people. So pious, so peaceful. So quick to turn on you. Thought I was fucking
All right, we're back. Music.
It's nice to have someone that's far more qualified to talk about it than we are.
Oh my god, dude!
Far more qualified.
Absolutely. So I rewatched that video and I was like, dude, I just got to ask Mark if I can use this audio, because me going through this, man, it is a heavy lift for me to analyze the performance of music that I don't really understand. And I've done it in the past. Like I've really, really worked on a lot of those. Like for the first 3 years of this podcast, I was working so hard to understand the musical performance and going into those technical aspects in great detail. I just that I'm just not in that place in my life anymore where I can do that at the moment.
Well, it's like why like if we did it, it would be like, yeah, we could talk our way through it and then have everyone be like, you know what, you guys know nothing about music. Why are you doing that?
Well, Mark did it. Mark did it, and it was great. And so thanks again to Mark. What I can talk about is how I feel about the lyrics, though. So let's get into these lyrics.
Let's do it.
We've been jacking around here for an hour and a half.
God, it's been
finally
that long
getting
already?
to it.
Holy cow.
Something like that. This is ridiculous.
Marathon.
I know. All right, so great song. It opens up with, oh, man. Dude, we got something else we got to do before we even talk about the lyrics. Wow. Before we talk about the lyrics, I am going to put the entire segment from the reunion on NPR's StoryCorps because it contains the entire sound clip that the band included in the opening instrumental part of the song. And you can hear the entire thing by what they're talking about. And let me just pull this up here really quick. It is the Holocaust survivor Siegbert Freiberg's story. And it's 12 minutes. And I'm putting it in, baby. So if you've never heard it, this is the entirety of NPR StoryCorps' reunion story with Siegbert Freiberg explaining the entirety of what Propagandhi included at the beginning of the song. So take it away, NPR.
And now, to close out the first half of our journey back to the golden age of Yiddish radio, an extraordinary historical artifact. It is one of the earliest surviving broadcasts featuring the voice of a Holocaust survivor telling his own story, a decade before the term Holocaust was even part of our vocabulary. The English-language show called Reunion was created to draw attention to the plight of Jewish refugees struggling for permission to move to this country by reuniting Holocaust survivors on the air. It premiered on WOR Radio in New York on July 6, 1947. What follows is an excerpt from that first program and the story of Reunion's first Holocaust survivor guest.
In just 7 seconds, you're going to hear America's newest radio show, Reunion. It's Reunion, a new program filled with human interest, comedy, and suspense. And now, here's the man who will tell you more about it, your host, Milo Bolton.
Thank you, friends, and welcome to Reunion. Berlin, 1938. A man would open his door in answer to the bell. He'd peer out into the darkness and see a rifle pointed at him and a bright flash of flame. A young man who lived through that reign of terror is our next guest on Reunion. His name is Siegbert Freiberg. He's 21 years old and he lives here in New York. All right, Mr. Freiberg.
I was born and raised in Berlin. I was the only child of two wonderful parents. Our house was filled with music and we were happy. Then in 1938, everything changed.
How was that?
One day there was a knock on our apartment door and my father went to answer it. The Gestapo grabbed him and took him away.
Where did they take him, Siegbert?
To Buchenwald concentration camp.
What did they do to your father at Buchenwald, Siegbert?
Well, from the first moment they took him, my mother started fighting to get him released. You see, Mr. Bolton, the Nazis hadn't yet started full warfare, so there were a few welfare agencies that could still help.
I see. Then she managed to get him released.
Yes, he was released in 1939, after spending a year in Buchenwald. In the meantime, my mother had arranged to get him a passport to Shanghai, and he left. Then, before he could send for us, the war broke, and my mother and I were put into munitions factories to turn out shells for the Nazis.
How long did you stay in this munitions factory?
Until one night they stopped me from going home. I knew it was coming because of something that had happened the day before. They had taken my mother to a concentration camp from which she never returned. But this particular night they loaded all of us who were Jewish into trucks and started away with us. I knew that if I didn't escape, then I'd be dead. So when the guard on my truck wasn't looking, I managed to jump off, and since it was nighttime, he didn't see me. Then I made my way to the suburbs of Berlin, where a Catholic family who had been friends of my father's and mother's gave me shelter.
How long did you stay there?
They kept me hidden in their house for 2.5 years, Mr. Bolton, through the rest of the war. And then Germany was defeated.
Then you came to America.
That's right.
In all this time, you haven't seen your father who's been over there in Shanghai?
No, sir.
Do you think that you'd know him after all these years? You know, you were just a young boy when you last saw him.
I'm sure I would, Mr. Bolton. A son always remembers his father.
Well, now, Siegbert, we want you to turn around to see if you know him. Ladies and gentlemen, that's really a touching scene. The father and son got each other in their arms. This elderly gentleman is really broken down with emotion, but he can't speak. And the son, of course, tears of joy are going down their cheeks. And believe me, gentlemen and ladies that are listening to me now, I have never seen such a touching scene in all my life. Ladies and gentlemen, they stand together there in each other's arms, and the emotion of the moment is really too much for them. And believe me, it's almost too much for me, too.
My name is Siegbert Freiberg, and I'm now 75 years old. I haven't heard this program since it was broadcast. What I said on that radio show is almost exactly what happened. I was arrested by the Nazis on February 27th, 1943. I was taken to a collection point. There, fortunately, I fell down a stairway and broke a leg. What still surprises me, since all the Jews were the next day taken to a German railroad station and sent off to Auschwitz. I don't think if anybody ever came back. But with my broken leg, now I'm surprised that some SS-man just didn't take out a pistol and shot me. But I was lucky. This fellow called an ambulance, and I was brought to, it was still called the Jewish Hospital in Berlin. When I was in the hospital, amazingly enough, even at that time, a social worker came to my room and asked me if she could notify somebody where I am. I said, yes, my mother has a Gentile acquaintance. And I gave that woman the address in the Berlin suburb. A week or two later, that Gentile acquaintance of my mother's with this German friend of hers came to visit me. And this German friend of hers, I was 13 at the time, but I fell in love with that lady. She was so warm-hearted, so she felt all my troubles and had tears in her eyes. I think I fell in love with that woman at that particular point. I still lived in that place inside the hospital. I was afraid, the Gestapo next door. I had terrible thoughts, and one day I decided to run away. When it was still dark, I took my little suitcase, sneaked out of the hospital, and went to the house of the beautiful girl who came to visit me. I came there with my little suitcase and said, will you help me, because I'm in very dangerous conditions in the hospital. Can you take care of me? And she lived with her parents, very nice Germans, and they took care of me, and I spent the entire time till the end of the war with them. I arrived in the United States on July 15th, 1946. After 1 year, I was contacted by a Jewish agency who knew my father was still in Shanghai and asked if I would appear on a radio show. But I was never actually told that I will be reunited with my father. That was a complete surprise to me.
His name is Siegbert Freiberg. He's 21 years old.
It was actually a rather empty stage. There was a desk. Mr. Bolton was there at one microphone. I was in front of another microphone. And that was actually it.
Do you think that you'd know him after all these years?
A son always remembers his father.
Well, now, Siegbert...
And after he spoke these little words there for 10 minutes, would you recognize your father? Then they pushed my father out from the side of the stage. He looked broken down, but I recognized him right away. He recognized me. We both couldn't understand each other. There were tears all over the place, you know. It was really the most moving moment of my life. The show was so popular that my father and I were invited to come back next week.
Now, Siegbert, will you tell our listeners what you and your father did since last Sunday's broadcast?
Well, for about 20 minutes afterwards, my father and I just kept our arms around one another and sobbed. It is the first time I ever cried from happiness. And I don't think I will ever have a happier moment in all my life.
Well, I can believe that all right, Siegbert.
We've been talking steadily since last Sunday, and we haven't even scratched the surface. Of course, there were a few things I had to tell my father which I hated. I had to tell him about Mother's death in the concentration camp and how all our relatives had been killed too.
Well, then that leaves only you and your father, doesn't it?
That's right, Mr. Bolton.
Have you been showing your father around New York?
I've had him every place, Mr. Bolton, up to the top of the Empire State Building, out to Coney Island, down in the subways, up Fifth Avenue to see the stores, and on Broadway at night to see all the lights. I just can't seem to show him enough. There's so much we both have to be grateful for that we can't begin to tell, you know. But my father, who has learned just a little English, expressed it when I showed him the Statue of Liberty. Father, tell her what you said. Sing good for America.
My father never spoke any English. He only knew 4 words. When somebody asked him anything in English and he didn't understand, he diplomatically said, "Thank God for America." And he meant it.
Well, thank you, Siegbert, and Mr. Freiberg. May you be happy and together always.
My father gave me a steamship ticket to Germany so that I could visit the German family, which helped me really survive Nazism. And so I went back to Berlin and started getting together with the German family. Now, I actually really had fallen in love with that young lady, the daughter of the family, and I made up my mind I have to marry that woman. She was a few years older than I was, but a wonderful person, and I figured I could not live without her. So I asked her whether she would, and she said yes, and now we are still madly in love with each other and have been married for 45 years.
Yeah.
And this is my beautiful wife.
Sigi, I love you.
I know that, my love. Prettiest 90-year-old I've ever seen. I mean this sincerely, my darling. I was lucky.
Yeah.
God was good to me.
All right, now we're really back.
We're getting to the point with this episode where we're almost like we just keep teasing the fact that there's an episode coming, but we just keep putting in extremely long clips and just pushing the actual episode further and further back. Like, what if it never actually happens and we just keep putting in other really long clips on top of it?
I mean, do you have any other ideas? Because if you do, now's the time. Speak now or forever hold your 17-minute clips. Very, very funny. Very funny. But that was a great story, man. And okay, so we heard that. We heard Mark break down the music. We heard the entire NPR StoryCorps reunion segment that Chris includes in the beginning of the song. So we got these lyrics here. We describe the sensation as a tearing in our chests. First of all, who's we? We describe the sensation? Why isn't it I?
Yeah.
Who's we? Like it's anyway, maybe it's the band. Maybe the band has collectively decided that they describe the sensation.
Have you ever referred to yourself as we before?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Like, I could see certain instances where someone might,
Mm-hmm.
but that would be a departure from his usual writing.
Do you think that we flows better as a lyric than I? I describe the sensation. We describe the sensation. It's kind of the same, right?
It's kind of the same. So we is definitely intentional. The
Yeah.
intent,
Yeah.
not sure.
Interesting. All right. So we describe the sensation as a tearing in our chests, and there is a quality in Freiberg's father's post-war wail that reaches through the world's worst speakers. So you heard the audio. Very, very funny. This is kind of a humorous line thrown into this very serious song. The world's worst speaker line, the sound quality is terrible on that recording. The 1940s and 1950s radios, the sound is very intense, right? So the audio file nature of it is pure garbage, but the intensity of the emotion captured in those moments in the reunification between Siegbert and his father is so genuine that anybody, even though the speaker is a piece of junk, you can hear the anguish and relief in the sounds that they make. And it's like, it makes me think about what my sounds would be like if I was ever if I ever had a forced separation with my own child, what it would be like while I was being separated from my child. And then if reunification were to ever occur unexpectedly, if it was something I had given up hope that would ever occur, what would my sounds be like? Do you know what I mean? It's a really intense thing to ponder, being separated from your child unexpectedly, not knowing if I'll ever see them again, and then the possibility of that actually occurring. Like, this is actually a pretty miraculous moment that was captured between this father and son. So I like the fact that there's a little bit of humor thrown in here, the world's worst speaker, because it gives a little bit of a comic relief to a really sincere and interesting moment.
And I think,
yeah,
overall, that's kind of what makes, like, the scope of Chris's songwriting so important and cool, is that he has that ability to, like, inject his own little bit of humor into otherwise very, serious topics.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got this terrible sound coming through the speaker. It beseeches anyone who happens by on their way to somewhere else. I really, really like that line because it just captures the banality of our day-to-day lives. Like, imagine just being at a stoplight, and you just randomly hit the scan button on your radio, and then you hear Siegbert and his father all of a sudden wailing and sobbing about being reunited after being separated during, like, the Nazi regime in World War II. And you're just like, damn, I'm just trying to go to work, man. And all of a sudden you're just, like, caught up in this moment that is, totally random and, as the song says, unscripted, but it's the random powerful moments that just capture your attention when you're completely not expecting them to just kind of bowl you over. That's what's so cool about this moment. So then we have this next part, clicking through the endless screens for the garbage on the shelves, reflections of ourselves. And it's
Shout out to the shelves and selves rhyme.
Yeah. Hey, there we go. This has only gotten more real, right?
Yeah.
Clicking through the endless screens. This came out in 2012 and 2025. We are all completely doomed with regards to screens unless you actively are forcing yourself to not engage with those things. That's now the norm completely for humanity.
And this is the line of the first part here. That's the line that I wanted to just talk about for a little bit here, because
go for it.
You and I both read a book this year called The Shallows.
The Shallows, Nicholas Carr.
So and then I read another one very similar called Offline, and it was just about cell phone usage and the internet usage and stuff like this and what it's doing to our brains. But, like, what I wanted to kind of highlight with here is and everyone can, introspectively think of this themselves, but I'll ask this to you. What percentage of your holiday shopping is happening from your phone?
I have not bought anything yet. Well, I did. I bought one thing, and it was not on my phone. I had to drive an hour and a half to pick it up.
I
So
mean,
so
good,
far,
good
I'm
on
at
you.
0%.
Good on you. The average person, what do you think what percentage of holiday shopping happens on their phone?
Every single item.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and that's the garbage on the shelves, right? Because you just scroll through the endless amounts of products, and you're like, oh, that, click, add to cart, and then you go continue shopping. You hit the continue shopping button, and you go back and you scroll more and more and more and more and more, add to cart, continue shopping, and then you got your items, then you go to your checkout, right? So, absolutely.
It's crazy, and like this year has been the year in my life in which I've pretty much ditched cell phone usage and stuff to like a very minimal level. I've like removed all social media, but like it's crazy, and when you don't notice it until you're kind of removed from it, how much everyone else is like just glued.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I one of the things I've always made an excuse for my own social media usage because of the 2 podcasts that I have. And then I was like, oh, well, when the book comes out, I'll need social media to promote the book. But now that like the book is out, the podcast is going, I've really, really cut back. It's been such a relief because when you get rid of Twitter, when you get rid of Threads, the noise of the world just ceases to exist because it's all completely fictitious and make believe, you know?
Yeah, like we had a conversation. Oddly enough, this came up at my last therapy session, in which I like to think these episodes are like adjacent therapy sessions as well. But since I've like I read those books last January, and that's when I made the change in my life after like going through a really rough period with work and everything. But like my mental health this year has been better than it has ever been.
Yeah.
Is it a coincidence that it's also the year that I ditched social media and ditched cell phone usage pretty much?
And you rode your bike a lot.
And I rode my bike a lot. So like
you rode your bike, you've been playing music, you're not on social media, you're going to a lot of football games.
Like
that's the recipe.
Mental health is far better than it's ever been. So like, you know, tying it back to this, I'm like, yeah, I'm not here scrolling through this shopping for crap all the time.
Yeah. It's a very, very interesting line to come out in 2012.
Yeah.
Only 5 years into the smartphone takeover of society. This is only 5 years in, 2012. It started in 2007, and social media obviously started, you know, with like Facebook and MySpace and everything. But
what phone did you have in 2012?
I didn't have a cell phone.
You didn't have a cell phone?
No. I didn't have a cell phone between 2007 and 2013. I got a cell phone in 2013 after not having one because I was living out of the country for a long time. And Patrina can talk to you about my proclivities with regards to stuff. But if I don't have something, it's very difficult to convince me that I need it. And so when I was living out of the country, I didn't want to have another bill coming to my mailbox telling me that I owed money on something. So I just never got a cell phone when I was living in England or Mexico. I was just phone free. When I lived in Saskatchewan, no cell phone. I think one time I bought a burner cell phone in Saskatchewan in case of emergencies in the wintertime. Like if I was, you know, stuck in a minus 40 degree thing while walking home from school. But yeah, for several years, I didn't have a cell phone at all, which is, I just used Skype and email.
I was really hoping that story would be like, one time in Saskatchewan, I bought a burner phone because I really enjoyed watching season 1 of The Wire, just so I could drive around and throw it out the window.
I mean, no, when I lived in England, I watched The Wire. So 2009 was my Wire year for sure. I watched every season on DVD, where you had to scroll through the menu on the DVD remote. But yeah, this is a great line. this opening section. And then we have to consider the cost of all this shit we seem to think will fill our perforated souls. We're more whole than human being. Can't wash away that stink. Man, people buying stuff and being on the internet is not meaningful. It is not going to make you feel whole. And I'm so glad that you read The Shallows as well, because that book came out in 2013 or 14 or something. It's kind of old now at this point, but it is so much of a predictor for where we were going. And yeah, the stink of the endless consumption and buying and purchasing and scrolling, it is leaving a funk upon society and the fabric of society in general.
Oh, couldn't agree more.
And then on Genius, our friend of the podcast, Patrick Mullen, who does all the Propagandhi lyric annotation editing on genius.com, Patrick wrote that it might be a nod to Chai Pig of SNFU, because they have a song called Hole in Your Soul. So as we all know, Chris loves Chai Pig and SNFU. So maybe that we're more whole than human being. Maybe that's a reference to Chai Pig. Maybe not. Chris, if you ever hear this, maybe you can talk about it. Maybe you'll do an Unscripted Moment episode of your own someday.
Have you seen SNFU?
Never saw them. Missed
Never saw
them.
'em?
Nope, I love them. They're great. They have a new reissue out and no one wanted to play. Their 1982, 84, 82, 84, something like that record that they did with the kid on the front cover. They have a brand new reissue of that on Trust Records, which I was looking at a little bit yesterday. I'm not going to buy it. I'm trying not to buy records that much at the moment. I already own that record. Why am I going to buy it again? Not buying it. Please tell me to buy it.
I only saw SNFU a single time, and I think it was in like around 1994.
Oh, so you saw
the
Epitaph years.
It was SNFU, Anthrax, and Cryptopsy.
Wow.
At like a free outdoor show in Montreal.
Yeah, you definitely saw the Epitaph Records years SNFU then.
Do you have a favorite SNFU record?
Yeah, In the Meantime and In Between Time is my favorite. Their 2004 record with Cockatoo Quill and Wreck in Progress and the Buffalo song. Love that record. It's really cool.
Mine is Something Green and Leafy.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Love that one.
What's the other one? How do you say it? Fibula?
Which...
It's the one that starts with F.
Oh, yeah.
All their album titles are 7 words long, which is very fun.
Yeah, it's a great band.
Mark Belke from SNFU was on the podcast March 20th, 2021.
Man, seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell we talked about. I mean, I think we talked about Hail. Oh, we talked about Hail Bop. They have a song where Chris, Jordan, Todd did some backing vocals for some long buried SNFU tracks that they were able to finalize after Chai Pig died. But yeah, Chris likes the album In the Meantime and In Between Time as well. He told a story on his podcast on Patreon about how he had the chance to release that on G7 Welcoming Committee. So that was kind of a cool story as well. But who knows if that's a reference to Chai Pig or not. But anytime I get a chance to mention SNFU on this podcast, I'm happy to do so because they are a much beloved band in Canada and they are a much beloved band by Propagandhi. Okay, next lyric. 13 billion years in the making, a live, unfiltered moment. So this is crazy to think about, man. When you think about the...
It's like, was it last week or the week before you said... Chapter 11, it's going to blow your mind. Just think of the vastness. That's literally what I'm thinking about with this right here.
Bhagavad Gita, man. Yeah. That chapter where Krishna reveals his totality. So it's like I would always make my students, like in the past when I was, we would go outside and we would lay down on the ground when we were reading the Bhagavad Gita. Because you have the full horizon, right? So I was like, okay, look at your horizon over there to the east. Look over at the horizon to the west. Look north, look south. Look how big the sky is. Now imagine that a god of some kind filled the entirety of that space. And think about just how huge this is, what this text is trying to convey. It spans from horizon to horizon, north, south, east, west, in all directions, and it's just this one full being, right? It unfathomably huge. So that's what I was trying to get you to do when I was telling you to do that with the Bhagavad Gita's Krishna totality chapter.
Yeah, and like, so it just that, and then with this here, like connect, like within the same week, I was like, this is kind of perfect timing.
Yeah, man. He's pondering the vastness of all of existence, for where you stand, every single thing, that exact spot where each person now stands, and what that single spot has seen in 4 billion years. Every single person, insect, bird, living creature that has ever been on the exact spot you're currently sitting on. Think of everything that's ever happened on planet Earth on the exact spot where your chair is sitting in your office right now, before your house ever existed for hundreds of thousands of years, right? How many living creatures have walked across that spot before houses existed? When it was just a piece of land. It's crazy. And so that is what I think about whenever I read this line, is every single thing that's ever happened on the exact piece of earth that I am now on at any given moment in my day-to-day life.
Our human
crazy.
Brains can't even process it. It's so vast.
No, that, like, I presume that countless untold extinct species that I don't even know ever even existed have been where my house now stands.
Yep.
Before this house was ever here. Like, insane. It's too vast, and I love that this song does that as well. It takes us, man, through all of creation.
Well, it's important to have that level of reflection too, because it really helps us realize how everything that we're going through right now is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And, like how, the amount of things that have crossed this path in 13 billion years, like we're literally just the smallest blip in time, and for us to like put so much emphasis on this blip is a disrespect to all of the other time that's gone by.
That's a really interesting way of putting it. Yeah. And acknowledging that is the way to give it some respect, right? To do a little better with our own actions and choices and behaviors, to not make the next 13 billion worse. It's kind of a lot of responsibility. So, and then we have this next line: an unscripted encroachment upon the province of routine evil of all too human people. What do you think about that line?
I mean, I think it's a tricky one, because humans are it depends on the way you look at it. You could say that humans are inherently evil.
Mm-hmm.
Because is it possible to like it's virtually impossible to live your life in a way that you never wrong or hurt another person.
Mm-hmm.
Impossible.
Yeah.
And the TV show The Good Place does a really good job of breaking all this down.
It's a guarantee.
It's a guarantee. Like no one is perfect. Everyone will inherently do bad things. That's just the way it works. So
every time I take my trash to the curb, there it is. You know what I mean? I'm putting my trash, my literal trash, literally into the ground, right? Whew. And it also, Chris revisits this sort of, in my view, in the Cat Guy song on At Peace, where he talks about the baby Hitler and the family dog dilemma. And so this is something that he returns back to, about the promise of people and what they can do and what they likely are going to do as far as like bad stuff. So I see this as being something that he consistently wrestles with, and he's still wrestling with it all these years later, because he just wrote about it on the new record too.
How is it not something you can, like, that's something every person should be wrestling with, right?
Yeah. So pious, so peaceful, so quick to turn on you. So no matter how good things seem in any given moment, as you just said, a single instance can change anything, right? Car accident, illness, unforeseen events. It can all change in the blip of an instant, and your entire life, which is all organized and tidy, can be completely upended on any given moment.
Your caption here, a car accident and illness and all this, all it did was and made me think of the Artist in the Ambulance song.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I just love that song.
it's a good song. I haven't heard it in probably 15 years at this point. Maybe I should listen to it again. So now we have Chris bringing it to himself here. Thought I was fucking out of here with two middle fingers in the air. Then, like a mile-wide meteor, he came crashing through my door. So his son, his oldest son, was born. I get a sense from much of Chris's commentary how sick of the big picture of horribleness in the world he is, and not surprising. But then becoming a parent, there's a huge difference in accepting what you can't change because our lifespans are so short. But then once you have a child, you're terrified to leave them behind because it's like you are no longer going to be able to be there to help them or guide them. Whereas before you're like, oh, if I die, I die. You know what I mean? But then it's like, oh crap, now this other person will be left on their own, and that sucks. So while he would be more accepting to just be like, whatever, when I'm done with this place is trash, I'm fine with it. But then there you go. You reproduce and it rewires your brain a little bit. And then it gets you to reconsider your point. And a lot of people are choosing not parenthood at all because they don't feel right about, adding more burden to the planet. Also, trying to guide a new life through just how ridiculously terrible society can be, and prepare them for that. Like, it's a lot of responsibility to prepare somebody for just the crazy crap of society that they will face forever. So yeah, it changed them up.
So this is something Zoe and I talked about recently, and it was probably part and part from certain passages, like in reading the Gita, but just, I want you for a second here to think what it would be like if you have your brain that's currently in your head. Just think if your current brain was reborn as a child 75 years from now.
Oh my God.
Just think just think of a minute, the idea in your head of what it is going to be like to be a child 75 years from now.
I can't even conceive of it. I truly can't. It's either going to be
even 50 years from now. Do you foresee there being a possibility that it is going to be better 50 years from now to be a child than when we were children in the 80s?
I wish I could say yes, but I truly don't know because I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard question.
It's terrifying to think of, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that it until regular people realize that they have tons in common with everybody who's just scraping by, until those people band together to kind of reorganize power structures in society, it's hopeless. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's, and that's why where it came up, how it came up organically in our conversation was about how, if you live your life in a certain way, you're doomed to an endless cycle of births and deaths. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that just got me thinking of how horrific that sounds, of just constantly having to live at different stages in the world over and over and over again.
Ugh. Yeah. I wish I could know what the world would even look like in 75 years. I'm kind of relieved I don't have to know. But man, there's a very real chance that my own kid could still be alive in 75 years. She'd be 87,
Which is very plausible.
Very plausible. So who knows? It's
terrifying.
It really is. Oh my God. Ooh.
It's like at that point, it's conceivable that Gloria would have grandchildren potentially, or great grandchildren by that time, and you will have relatives.
Yeah.
I won't. I know that for a fact.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you will.
It's somewhat. It's pretty plausible that I would have living descendants. Then, I mean, it depends on her choices that she makes during her, reproducing years or whatever. But who knows? But I don't know, man. You're tripping me up with how big of a question that is, because who freaking knows? Things are so recognizable in so many ways from 1990, but then just so confusingly different in so many important ways. It's so confusing to me how similar things look when I walk down the street to 1990, but then just the vibe is so different. But I was a kid, so maybe the vibe is the same. How the hell would I know?
Yeah, it's just such a scary thing to think about. I'm like, if someone gave me the option of, of being born again as a child 50 years from now, I would politely decline.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, no, that doesn't would not interest me. It wouldn't interest me. We're getting to the end of the song here. That's just how it goes, and everybody knows ain't too much can be done. So you'll die when you die, and you can't change it really, and our inherited generation has to deal with our mess. So that is a very scary prospect for those kids 75 years from now, because things are a little bit chaotic at the moment as far as the order and the structure of society in general.
Have you read a book called Scythe by Neil Shusterman? Have you heard of that?
No.
It's like a YA fiction dystopian novel.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, it's about... I'll be very brief. So it's about the world post-mortality, in which they've figured out a way to stop people from dying. So no one dies, and the entire society is run by something called the Thunderhead, which is like an AI computer that basically, there's no governments, there's nothing. It just, everyone has everything they need. Everyone has ample money. There's no pains in society whatsoever. There's no crime, there's nothing. But people don't die. So there's this overarching body of called scythes, who it's their job is to glean / kill a number. They have their quota is 5 people a week that they have to just to population control, and they do it all based on other factors or whatever. But it's just interesting how this line about you'll die and you can't change your time, it's just got me thinking, because that I'm in the middle of that book right now, in that this is a portion of the population, the world is living where you don't die anymore. You go to regeneration center and you just come back and you get reset, and that's what it is. But you have these people that determine when you die.
Jeez. Well, and another thing going on right now is there's a show on Apple called Pluribus, where everybody in humanity shares one consciousness, essentially, and there's no violence or anything like that, no imprisonment. And it's a pretty crazy show, too. It kind of reminds me of what you were just talking about. Yeah, it's I might have to check that book out, especially if it's YA, because I'll actually be able to read it and understand it.
Oh yeah, you'll blow. I've been reading it for a week. It's super entertaining. It's a cool book.
I may have to get a copy of that for the house, because the kids might like it too. So then we have I love this line right here. All the avarice and greed and puny human hatreds that dare to come between two human hearts. This is something I feel extremely strongly about. If you look at the internet, you see the destruction of relationships in the world, and especially with regards to political arguments with families on social media. And this is like a tiny example, but I could totally see it being the case for me and my own family. Like tons of people in my family, and I disagree with things, to put it mildly. And for a long time, I was like, oh, how can people who help make me be into this stuff? You know what I mean? I got really like self-righteous about stuff like this. And I definitely let it impact relationships that I have with people that I've known since I was a baby, right? It's very hard to reconcile stuff. And I'm not here to lecture people who have removed themselves from relationships with a person they find to have diametrically opposed views to them, but I have mostly been able to find it in my heart to repair some relationships where I let those things kind of fall apart due to big picture things in society that I have no control about. I know where basically everybody stands, and I can go the rest of my life calling people out and straining relationships for the sake of being right or whatever. But I found when I put some of those relationships on the back burner, it felt like my history as a person began to fade, right? Because so many people that I disagree with in my life that I have known since I was a kid, when I would stop talking to those people because I was mad about whatever disagreement I saw them post on the internet, when I removed those people from my life, I felt like I lacked a shared history to where my own memories started to fade. Because if you don't reminisce about your lived experiences, over time you lose them. So if you cut people out of your life who have shared experiences with you, many of which are extremely good, you stop reminiscing about good stuff because you've removed people from your life who disagree with you on whatever the hell gets posted on social media. You know what I mean? So this is a very, very important line for me because I have stopped removing people from my life based on small or large disagreements on certain things. For the most part, like I'm willing to remove people from my life who are just outright pure evil, but I've come to the conclusion that a lot of people that I disagree with in my life are not pure evil. And removing them from my life eliminates my own history as a person. So I've been able to move on from doing that. And so the puny human hatreds that came between me and people that I know lived it, did it, and I have chosen to not let puniness control me anymore.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
And like
it's hard to enunciate too, man, because people have toxic people in their lives that they need to get out of their lives for whatever reason, and that's great.
And if removing someone from your life is dramatically going to improve your mental health in your day-to-day life, I'm all for it. Absolutely do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I fortunately have not had it come to that. So anyway, that's just where I why I like that line so much.
It's interesting because like when you said, you know, about talking about like pure evil, I'm like, it's very hard for someone to be pure evil.
Yeah.
Like it's very hard.
Yeah.
You know, even like the most garbage people out there show moments of compassion and empathy.
Mm-hmm. And they and have
whether it be
capability of doing good stuff.
Yeah, not whether, you know, obviously, you know, that empathy and compassion maybe isn't towards me or, you know, people I resonate with, but it's towards other people. And just because I don't resonate with those other people doesn't mean that that person is not showing compassion and empathy towards those people. Right.
Yeah. 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 I love this line. And this is a line from Propagandhi that it's like an all-timer for me. So then we have the I try not to live in fear, and I'm truly grateful for every happy moment here. Great line. and it's kind of something that their later records have done a lot. When he cites Bruce Cockburn on the new record, you got to kick at the darkness till it bleeds daylight, or something needs to die. The closer, talking about the gift, right? Patrick on Genius wrote it that it's a common theme for Propagandhi since supporting cast, where Chris is, choosing to enjoy things that he's cultivated in spite of how terrifying the world can be, which I thought was a cool comment from Patrick.
So in keeping with this one, obviously we're both terrified of near everything out there.
Yeah.
Sometimes even walking the
big
streets.
scaredy cats.
Sometimes even walking the streets is scary.
Yeah.
But and honestly, if we spend all our time thinking about all that stuff, we're gonna go crazy. And
yeah,
maybe listeners of the show. This past year has been a very big transformational year for me, personal wise, growth wise, everything like this. Because I used to be someone who, the people that know me would say, extremely pessimistic and very negative all the time. Used to be me. And I've worked very hard over the last year to change it. And I'm super proud of the growth, the growth that I've had. But part of it is attributed to the fact that I've started a daily gratitude journal. Every night before I go to bed, I have a book that sits on my bedside stand that I just write 3 things that I'm grateful for from that day. And I almost think something like that is absolutely necessary to get through the world right now.
Yeah. I mean, this line, I try not to live in fear, and I'm truly grateful for every happy moment here. This is why I asked Patrina to get married. This sentiment right here. You know what I mean? There's a lot that sucks, but man, I'm going to be dead sooner than later, and might as well
live it up, right?
Might as well live it up. Might as well do whatever I can to cultivate the absolute best remaining time that I have. So I just love it. And I know Chris struggles with this kind of stuff, but you really just gotta.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it's really heavy. And then we have the parenting line, right? There's not a lot in this song until so Freiberg and his father, obviously, in the very beginning of the song, that's about parenting, obviously, but this is the parenting line. Upstairs, I hear her voice softly singing to him, and I come undone. Gorgeous, gorgeous moment, right? I remember hearing this line for the first time, and then I became a dad a year later, like I said, after the record came out. Super important line to me. It makes me think of all the little meals that I've made with my daughter over the years, the little trips we take with all 3 of the kids. We stick them in a van and we drive for 18 hours to the Gulf of Mexico from New York. Combining families, hearing my fiance's conversations with her sons, in the other room, talking about their day and stuff like that. Or hearing my kiddo on the phone with her grandma or her best friends, whenever I'm in earshot down the hallway. Just tiny little stuff, so beautiful, and it just rattles my soul a little bit. So super, super amazing line, great lyric, and every single person I think can connect to this in some way.
It's a cool thing because it's there's certain parts of the song that are definitely doom and gloom, but then to toss this line in here that just gives everyone the feels is super cool.
Yeah, what is up? And then we have these closing lines, right? Something wicked this way comes. That's just how it goes, and everybody knows ain't too much can be done. So our beautiful, pure, little innocent children who never asked to be born, by the way. My kid never was oh, you know what happened? I need to be born. No one asked to be here, right? But they're just pulled into this muck. So what do? We have these amazing little moments, try to do our very best to prepare them to face their own challenges that they'll face in the world. And no matter how much you do, it's never going to be enough because everybody will face their unique challenges in their own way.
And speaking of that, we're coming into the December here. I know this is a hard time for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going through a hard time and you have no one to talk to, reach out to us. We're always
Yeah.
here. Like, we're happy to listen, happy to have a chat. Like, just, we're here for you. We love
Yeah,
you.
if you email propagandipod@gmail.com, you'll get a reply from us. And if you want to hear from Steve, I will forward the email to Steve, and Steve will get back to you. So if you like Steve more than me and you want an email from Steve, let me know, and I'll forward it to him. Yeah. We got a couple live performances that I'm going to tack on to the end of the episode. One is from Paris, France, in July of 2013 with Beeve. And then the other one is from 2014 in Baltimore, Maryland. We heard a little bit about that at the very beginning of this episode. So some online comments that I found, quote, maybe the best Propagandhi song ever. Definitely a contender. Another one says Todd Kowalski has to be up there with the best punk bass players of all time. He's an absolute legend considering both skill and creativity. Couldn't agree more. We got the finger tapping in there. This is a great tune.
Who doesn't love Todd?
Everybody loves Todd. Got to see Todd a few weeks back in Winnipeg. He gave me a sacrifice tape of their new album, Volume 6. So that was pretty sweet. So amazing song. This song has transcended songs and music for me to be a meditation on what really matters in life. It's a 5 out of 5 for me as a ranking. Obviously, how could I name the podcast after this song and not give it a 5 out of 5 for the record? The podcast has been like this immensely important thing in my life. It's a full circle project at this point now, right? Because married, kind of unhappy, start the podcast, COVID hits, get more unhappy, hyper fixate on podcast, obsessively focus, right? End marriage, see Propagandhi 3 times in Winnipeg, move into my own place, continue the podcast while sorting out my life, meet you, buy a house, move, meet Patrina, continue podcast. The week of Unscripted Moment, get engaged to be married. So very wild full circle experience for me within the existence of this podcast.
I don't know if this is something you want to admit out loud. But did you time your proposal to the episode release, like to the episode?
No, absolutely not. No,
that was just coincidence?
Completely coincidence. I got I asked on Thanksgiving because I was like, what am I thankful for?
But you knew we were recording this episode last week.
Didn't even think about it. So
what a full circle moment. What unbelievable.
She and I actually figured that out the other day. We're like, man, I'm about to record that Unscripted Moment episode. We're engaged. I was married, then I got divorced. Like this 5 years has been like the most insanely full circle experience imaginable. And the podcast has been a nice little anchor of creativity throughout the way. I mean, I did a damn book.
What a ride, man. What a
ride.
Pretty
freaking crazy. So, this song is more than just a song to me at this point. I see unscripted moments in all of my day-to-day life, right? That's what my life is. It's a series of that. And then just being like, boom, there's another one. Ooh, there's another one. Oh my God, there's another one. That is how I am living. This song is almost like a thesis of life at this point. So, I might like songs like Supporting Cast and Purina Hall of Fame. Like technically I might like them more as songs if I'm just thinking about songs, but meaning of life stuff, this one, top of the heap, baby. So, yeah. That's my thoughts. Love this song. Amazing stuff. Great episode.
Yeah, it's been such a reflecting. I'd say, this is my favorite song off of this record. I'm gonna give it 4.25.
Nice.
And honestly, it's a full circle moment for me coming on the show 2 years into the show, and then cranking out however many episodes I've been on, no idea. But then just being able to
work.
Yeah. And then just being able to close this out like this, and then for us to be able to start a new chapter.
Yeah. Very, very good. Very, very good. All right. Well, Steve, we'll be back for our year-end episode, and then I think for At Peace, I'd like to start with No Longer Young, if that's okay with you.
I mean, it's like a top 3 Propagandhi song for me, so I'm not gonna.
Amazing. All right, everybody.
And we haven't talked about it, but let's take January off.
There will be no episode in January 2026. People, deal with it.
Because honestly, I want to let the new songs sit for as long as possible before we touch them. I think it's important to have everything sit.
That's how Propagandhi operates. And I think that we honor the spirit of the band by not making our own episodes for a long time because, then everybody will... Because Victory Lap was 2.5 years old when we put out the first episode. So we're not going to take that long, but, we're going at our pace while keeping the podcast alive.
And literally, the 4 people that are listening to this right now, other than those 4 people, and I'm not even sure any of those 4 people are like, oh man, I can't wait to hear what Greg and Steve think about No Longer Young. No one is thinking that. Literally, no one cares what we think.
No, it's just about friendship at this point. So, but we've had about 500,000 downloads in the podcast, which is pretty cool. So some people have actually listened, but
was that Todd or Jord that said that? It was Todd, right?
I don't know. I can't remember, but pretty fun shit. All right. So we'll be back sometime, and hope you guys like this episode. If you've made it this far, you are a real trooper.
And stay safe this holiday season. And if you need to talk to anyone, we're here for you. We love you.
Yep. Go Bills, Steve.
Go Bills.
It's not really Jordan's fault. No, it's not, although I told him straight up. Well, let's fucking play it then. We'll play this fucking song instead of skipping it. This song is called Unscripted Moment. I'll tell you the backstory just because I don't really want to. I don't know. It'll kill more momentum. That's good, right? So this song is called Unscripted Moment, and it's based on this radio show, the archival radio show that was made in New York in the late 1940s on some Yiddish radio station that doesn't exist anymore. And it was a recording of a father and son that were reunited live on air after the Holocaust. They thought each other was dead, and it's one of the most powerful little pieces of audio I've ever heard on the fucking useless internet. And it stuck with me. I got kids, so I think about it all the time. I'm sure some of you do too. And sadly, or tragically, ironically, I dedicate it to the people of Gaza, the parents in Gaza and their kids. Here it comes. Here it is.
Reflections of ourselves. To consider the cost of all the shit you seem to think will fill up perforated souls. No more whole than human being. Shall wash away that stink. Oh. 50 billion years in the making. 11,000 more. And still caution. Love is so routine evil. All too human people. So pure, so peaceful. So quick to kill you. While I was fucking out of here. Two little fingers in the air. Like a mile wide mirror. Keep crashing through my door. And that's just how it goes. And everybody knows. Too much can be done. All the avarice and pure human hatred that can come between two human hearts. I'm trying not to live in fear. I'm truly grateful for every happy moment here. Upstairs I hear her voice. She's softly saying to him and I come undone. Something wicked in this world come. And that's just how it goes. Everybody knows. Too much can be done. Todd, you ready for a duet? Mon ami, oui, oui.
What's going on, guys? I'm going to make this quick because I'm on the shitter at work right now. But regarding the new song, At Peace, I think I'm just really excited for this album. I'm not very familiar with Victory Lap or Failed States nearly as much as I am with the Fat Wreck records and Supporting Cast. I think that was at Tap. I don't really remember. But for the ones that I am familiar with, it seems like a big message was always the preservation of the memories and everything, the stories they talked about, at least especially for today's empires. And this new record being At Peace, I mean, with everything going on in the United States right now with the pseudo takeover that Elon Musk and the oligarchies and rich hedge fund billionaires have had, I think the best message you could possibly be sending is to be at peace and not let this shit overwhelm you. I think way too many people are forgetting that you can't get obsessed with this shit. You will get burnt out and scared and sick, and that's exactly what these fucking the powers that be, I guess, will say. That's exactly what the goal of all of the executive orders and all of the press and just trying to scare people to death. You have to stay calm and collected, not let this shit overwhelm your personal and mental life as best as you can, which is fucking difficult. But, I mean, as long as you're doing your best to stay informed but not obsessed, I think that's the best you can really do, and I really love that Chris is going in this direction. I hope for the album, I hope it's a sort of grandpa sits you on his lap and tells you to be calm sort of vibe that I got from the first track. I really loved it. I'm very excited for the upcoming release. All right, have a good one.